Hey, everybody, it's me, Jake, from Jakin.Off. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. This week, I am joined by a very funny comedian, friend of mine from right here in Kansas City. Ladies and gentlemen, big warm round of applause for Max Peterson. Let him hear it. Max is available to be followed at Max G. Peterson on Instagram. You can find his stand-up dates. You can find some clips. You can learn about his show at Warehouse Vintage that happens here in Kansas City. If you're in the area, you should check it out. It's a fun time. Get yourself a little Pope hat. Get yourself a little Pope outfit. Max, today we talked about the Pope. We talked about a lot of stuff, but eventually we got to the Pope.
Yeah.
And, God, they're Italian, huh?
Man, we really went back in time.
Yeah, we went back in time. We went forward in time. We went right here. We were in the moment at times.
We're so far in the future.
Yeah.
We were talking about Katy Perry. Then we went to the Pope.
Katy Perry, Gayle King,
There's
Leo the 10th, all the biggest influencers.
There's actually a lot of similarities between Katy Perry and the Pope.
Yeah, actually, if you think about it, they're closely related.
Elon Musk.
But as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the episode. Follow this podcast at Jakin.Off.Podcast. And you can also send anything at all to Jakin.Off.Podcast at gmail.com. I'll look at it least once. If you send it there, I'll look at it once. That's our guarantee. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning into the episode. And have a good listen to the episode.
Oh, won't you take off with me? Oh, I know it's your fantasy. Oh, won't you take off with me? Yeah, we're taking off every week.
They don't want no aborties. They're anti-aborty.
Yeah. No boardies.
I'm calling them. I've tried to come up with a cuter name for it. I think it's important. I think that's part of the problem. The term abortion sounds like a little clinical, a little
really harsh.
And I think if we call them boardies or borts.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that maybe it will, because here's the thing, dude. People are dumb. Mm-hmm. People are stupid, and that stuff really clicks with a lot of people. And I think that even though if in my perfect society, we wouldn't have to do that because people wouldn't be as stupid as they are. But that's not, we can't live there. And so we need to start doing things to take advantage of them. You know what I mean? Because other people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
And it's working out great.
I could see that working with the frat douchebag people. They could be like, "Oh, you're gonna get her a PB, or are you gonna get her an aborty? Are you gonna do an aborty, bro?
Dude, yeah, no, exactly. Here,
aborties for life, bro.
Yes, exactly. No, dude, that's what I'm saying though. It does.
Yeah.
It is one of those things where it's people just, when you change the names of stuff, dude, they do it the opposite direction all the time, dude. They'll be they'll call stuff critical race theory or something like that. They will give it an intentionally sort of, confusing and bad sounding name. When in reality, it's just we want to teach them the truth about slavery.
Yeah. That's pretty critical.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys want to make everything about race, in other words.
It's also funny they're it's a theory. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know this for sure.
Yeah.
We're theorizing.
Yeah. And well, they conflate what critical race theory actually is, which is a legal, this is a graduate level idea that you would learn if you were a scholar of law, not something that you're going to teach to a third grade kid.
What'd you learn in school today? Critical race theory.
Yeah, I learned that the laws, despite the fact that they are written without racism in the text, may still be applied in very racist ways. They're killing our kids. They're turning our kids trans and making them sympathetic to black people. Dude, you know what? Brett and I were talking because this whole this like space thing that just happened with like Katy Perry.
Oh yes,
dude. We were like, because how old are you, Max?
22.
Okay, see, I was spot on, dude.
Okay.
And I was like, we get the opportunity to ask a young person, a young man, dude.
Yeah.
What are they saying? What are the kids saying? You're a kid correspondent, dude.
Oh, they think.
What are they saying about the space thing, right? I mean, obviously it's like cringe, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
no, they think they're like fucking dumb as shit.
Yeah.
They think they're the dumbest people in
Dude,
the world.
it's
Us younger
crazy.
generations think they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's so funny that she went up to space.
Katy Perry is
Katy
who you're
Perry.
talking.
Yeah.
Specifically, she's the one catching the most heat.
Oh yeah.
Because she's also the most cringe one, I think, out of the group.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Which is crazy because a lot of them are pretty cringe.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like you're the most cringe out of the shittiest
Yeah.
cringe. She goes up there and then she's like, "This isn't about us. This is not about us. It's about It's like something about like garbage. Like it's like a good way to get rid of like what like they're getting rid of plastics or something."
And dude, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys know right now. It's not good to do that.
Yeah.
There's a huge problem with like. There's already so much garbage like floating at that sort of area of the atmosphere
Yeah.
that they're like, yeah, it's an issue. Like eventually there could be so much that it'll make like leaving the planet impossible because
we can't get out of
you
our
can't.
own trash.
Yeah, dude, we're
Yeah.
gonna be enclosed by like our own trash, and like a lot of it is like relatively small, but some of it is fucking huge. Like.
Yeah.
Some of it is literally gigantic pieces of like trash that we've already launched into space.
Dude, it'd be so funny if we're on like intergalactic hoarders. They're like, "Oh, so we have Earth here, and we're just like sitting in our own shit." We're like, "We can't leave. There's so much shit surrounding the Earth, and we put it there."
Dude, you know what I'll often think about regarding like space travel and like all this shit about like, oh, like we're gonna like travel around, and every sci-fi thing has like this view of it where it's either like these like other places have like technological civilizations or whatever, and like they're like all this stuff, but I think the reality is that like for the foreseeable future of like anybody living on Earth now, for sure, like all space travel could ever be is just like us moving our dog shit stuff to like other, like just doing it. Like I think of the idea of like storage wars happening on like the moon of Saturn or whatever. They're like, yeah, we got these like storage units that people can't afford to pay for, so we're pawning off. You don't even get to look in there.
Yeah.
You just gotta gamble on like what do you think is gonna be in this storage unit. It's just like nothing is actually getting better. It's just moving to a new a new place.
I put my poop here and I put my poop here. I move my poop. When you say storage wars on the moon, I just think of like some guy going, "Yep, yep."
Or like, dude, just a bunch of pawn shops or whatever, like operating on other planets, like
Pawn stars
that
on
kind
the
of
moon.
stuff. Yeah, dude, they're like the first people to colonize it. It's like the payday loan companies because they're like, yeah, they don't have jurisdiction here. We can do our thing again.
Some guy's trying to pawn off like the American flag they put on the moon. They're like, "This is the first American flag put on the moon." They're like, "Yeah, this will be worth a lot of money here."
Dude, the only reason that any normal person will ever get to travel to like other like planets or whatever is because the people who like the elites are going to be like, well, we need to bring them because we're
not going to wipe our own ass.
Well, not wipe our own ass. They're like, our whole shit is based on like exploiting people.
Yeah.
So like if we don't have like these rubes to buy our payday loans, we can't make any money,
Do you guys?
These are our marks. We got to take our marks with us.
Do you know what's so crazy? Have you seen the movie Mickey 17?
No.
Oh, I haven't yet, but I want to watch it.
It's literally what you just described.
Oh, really?
It's the Earth has found out like how to like travel, and so like of course the richest people are like, oh, we want to go to this place, and so they like start going there, or like they're getting ready to go there, and they're like, oh, well, we don't know if it's gonna be okay and everything, so they like bring like 400 people with them, and they just treat them like slaves. Like they are like, hey, like, we're cutting down your rations by this much today just because we're running a little low. And Then the guy, they like find out a way to like recreate his body over and over, and they just exploit him by killing him over and over.
Yeah, dude.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where people. I think that people view it in sort of a similar light that they viewed the original like space race or whatever, where they're like, it's still space, like that kind of thing, and it's like. It's not really the same. The idea behind the other one, like, yeah, it was like a lot of like Cold War, like other, like that kind of shit. But like, it also like a lot of it, like that people cared about was just like curiosity shit. Like that's what hooked like most average people onto that stuff. Like this is just about capitalizing space.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like Katy Perry. Like, there's no other reason why you would send Katy Perry, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, what does she have to bring?
She's
gonna sing in space.
Yeah, do her shitty little choreography.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about too. She's getting roasted right now.
Oh yeah,
she's getting blasted. Her tour choreography is like fucking.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah, she's readjusting like Earth's gravity.
Yeah.
Did they say that? What?
Yeah.
Because she like fell and she looked up. She was like, "Did I fall?"
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. She's a piece of shit. I think that
it's also so funny. She has a song where she's like, "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind?" It's like, you're in space. You're in space right now. What do you mean, do you feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind? You're richer than everyone right now.
Yeah. It's like she might as well be in space all the time, is kind of what you're saying, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I think that really is what I bothers me the most about it, or what I find so sort of like humorous, is it is like a physical manifestation of like having so much money that you're like, I'm not even on the same planet as you.
Yeah.
Like we can't even inhabit the same planet anymore because just like your existence is like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck back down here, bitch. You're not going anywhere. We're filling it up with trash and nobody's leaving. You either fix this shit or we all die. That's it. I don't think there's any other choice, Katy Perry.
She's also like, oh, by the way, this isn't about us. Like, it's about, this, that, or another. And then she posts her face like, oh, my God. Guys, look, it's space.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's literally a PR. They're just doing like...
rich people PR.
Yeah, commercial space travel. Like, it's just literally commercial space travel. They're like... Well, if we send a bunch of rich people into space, all these other rich people are going to see it and be like, oh, my God, like, I'm going to pay a bunch of money to go to space. And they're like, they are like technically going to space. It's a very short amount of time, right?
What was it, 11 minutes or something like that?
It's like 11 minutes total, but the amount that they spend in space, yeah, look it up. It's like, I think it's like a couple of minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just one of those things where it also shows you like how, yeah, it's such a waste. It shows you how like far we are from this.
It was 11 minutes.
11 minutes in space?
Total time during her Blue Origin space flight. The entire flight, including ascent-descent, lasted 11 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's only
they just
like...
got to the outside of the atmosphere and dipped back in.
Yeah, I think it's only like a total of like a couple minutes of like weightlessness in space. So it's really is just like the equivalent of like, when you go to Worlds of Fun and they have that bungee, it's like you pay the ticket to get in and you get to ride all the roller coasters, but they have that crazy bungee ride that you can pay like an extra $25 or something like that. It's literally like the equivalent of that, but for like people with billions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like that's what they're going for.
You pay an extra $25 on the bungee thing, and they're like, "All right, well, we're gonna take off your seatbelt." They just launch you into fucking.
Yeah, but we're just gonna let you go. Usually, we don't crank this thing too high because we don't want anybody launched up into space. But you guys paid enough. You paid $50.
Yeah, and then
so we're
you
gonna
wanna
shoot you
eat?
up there.
That's an extra $100. And then we're going to take the floor away from you on the Patriot for 5 minutes. Like, woo! Man, this is called the Blue Orgy Mission. What is this
The
called?
Blue Origin mission. Like,
Blue Orgy
Blue
Mission.
orgy, dude.
Max, with you
Blue
with you being
orgy.
10 years younger than us, who is Gayle King to you? A news anchor or Oprah's friend?
Oprah's friend?
Yeah, which one is she? Is she a news anchor? Like, what do you see her as? Is she more the news anchor or Oprah's friend?
Who are we talking about?
I don't think that
You don't even know who
I don't
Gayle
think that
Gayle King
anybody in
is.
their 20s knows who
That's
Gayle
what-
King is.
damn.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought you were asking me who's Gelking, and I was like, well, I
No.
know what Gelking is.
I don't know what that is.
I think you mean Jelking.
Oh, of course.
It's
my
pronounced Jif. Jif Jelking.
I thought you were asking me if Oprah jelks. I'm like, duh. I mean,
Dude,
of
and,
course.
and explain again what Jelking is.
All right. So you can pull on your penis for an allotted
Nice.
amount of time
Yeah.
to then stretch it out and keep it that length. It's
Yeah.
just it's a
It's
penis
a penis extension
extension
exercise.
therapy. Yeah.
Therapy.
Therapy.
Dude.
Yeah.
Have we? I feel like we have to have talked about this before.
Me and
Or
you.
like the penis stretching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the penis
I love
stretching
to talk
stuff.
about it.
Have you heard about any of this?
I've seen it because it's
You've done
on that
Dude, there's this
how-to
guy-
episode with John.
Yes, okay,
John
yes.
Wilson. John
Dude,
Wilson.
there's that
John
episode
Wilson
of,
does it on camera.
No, he meets this guy
No.
who
Who-
has this
dude,
penis
he like
tugging.
ties it like it's like a cord that's like
foreskin.
attached to his bed, and it like ties to his foreskin, and he like to stretch his foreskin. But
Yeah.
that's like about because that's when they're talking about circumcision.
Yeah, they
and
want their
like,
sensitivity back.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, they want their sensitivity back. They
Yeah.
were mutilated, which I mean, they got a point.
That-
I think you gotta agree. They got a point.
Have you
I
heard it?
mean, they didn't. They were babies. They didn't get to choose to have their dicks cut like that. Like, I'm circumcised. I don't necessarily like have the same like level of feeling about it as those guys do.
Yeah.
And I'm not like upset about it. And like maybe it's because like mine didn't get botched or anything. And so like I
You're
could have.
uncirced?
No, I'm circed.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying like my circ didn't go awry
Oh, I see.
the
I see,
way
I
that
see.
maybe
Yeah.
I think that like you know, dude, that happens frequently. Like men you know, will grow up with botched circumcisions that affect their penises, and
Yeah.
it becomes a bit, you know, like,
I know
and
you're
then
talking- yeah,
if
yeah.
that had happened to me, I think I would be like one of these dudes out here marching in the street being like, hands off, stop doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm sympathetic to that shit, like
I feel like
to
mine.
a certain extent.
I feel like mine got botched, but like not in the bad way. I feel like they were just like they didn't take enough off. I'm describing my penis right now, but and it's a little weird. Have you guys heard of manhood? Do you know what manhood is?
That's like an organization, right? That's like the penis anti-circumcision guys.
No. Well, I think there might be something like that. With the
Okay,
same
there
name.
is, yeah,
It's under the
maybe.
same vein.
Yeah.
Manhood is they make a little hood for your penis that you can attach, and it simulates like what having foreskin is like,
No, I'm good.
and then you just wear it around all
I'm
day.
good. Nope.
You wear like a little thing on your dick all day, and you walk around.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So
that it would be
good.
interesting, dude. I would try it. I would try it for like a day. Dude, here's the problem is we live in like such a like you know, there wouldn't be a need for that if we weren't like just cutting all these babies' dicks. You know what I mean? Like it is clearly having like a psychological effect on people. You know what I mean?
No, I'm
I
completely
think
normal.
That's
I
like
wear a hood on my penis.
But exactly though, dude, like I don't think that it's like I just like I'm not surprised, I guess, that exists,
Yeah.
because clearly doing all this stuff, and I'm not even one of these people who's out here being like, no one should ever do that or whatever. Like I'm like, I'm not passionate about the issue of foreskin the way that
Yeah.
other people are, but if I'm going to give my 2 cents about it, it's that obviously it's having some negative impacts on some fellas.
And I will say, after hearing the part about stretching your foreskin to the point where it fucking like hurts, I feel like the hood option is way better. We should just go with the hood.
Yeah, dude. Somebody
full
should
thing.
tell that guy about the hoods, the synthetic hoods. You can get a synthetic hood, dude.
I just can't imagine, like, if you're at a urinal and, like, you accidentally look over and someone's got, like, a hood on their cock.
Dude, okay. You know what's so awesome? This is going to be such a great transition. Watch this, Brett.
Oh, I know exactly
Dude,
where you're going.
So we've been talking a lot about baby penises.
Oh, my favorite.
And the thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is the Pope. So Max, go ahead and tell people what just happened to the Pope, dude.
That boy did. That boy eliminated. You want to know what happened to the Pope? J.D. Vance assassinated him.
Dude, that's so funny.
It's
Yeah,
funny
man.
because I said, as soon as I saw all those conspiracy theories a few hours after they met and he
Yeah.
died, I texted Jake and I said, this is so Jakin.Off coded. Like,
Yeah, dude, it is very
They did this
much
just for you.
like one of the funniest things that could have possibly happened.
I hate to be like that guy that's like, I saw a meme, but you guys know the movie The Interview with Kim Jong-un? It's like a basically,
yeah.
and he's like, he has the little strip on his hand. He's like walking to like, hello, nice to meet you. Everyone's like, J.D. Vance meeting the Pope. And he's like, hey. I feel like that was worth bringing up.
Dude, you know what's so funny is because they do Republicans, like I think a majority of Catholic Americans supported the Pope just on the basis of the fact that he's the Pope.
Yeah.
But there is like the people who didn't like the Pope really did not like this Pope. Like he did like some very minor stuff. He was like, hey, you know, poor people really need our help. And maybe we shouldn't be so hard on gay people.
Yeah.
Like maybe we should tone it down a little bit, just like a tiny bit. And a lot of like people were like, this guy is a liar. They're like, I don't know how this guy is Pope. I don't even think he's Catholic.
Because he's like, we should be nicer to gay people and support the
Yeah,
homeless.
he's very politically controversial, which, here's the thing, this might shock you, the popes are always politically controversial, dude. There's never been, from the beginning of it, the entire position was created to like for politics.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And then they ran, it was like they were like puppets of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Until they eventually became like pretty powerful themselves.
Mhm.
And then it became like, we're going to get into it because there's this thing. There's a book. It's called The Bad Popes, Max. And it
How many are there?
details. In this book, it's like they're all the
Old.
early guys,
Oh,
all the
okay.
old dogs, all the
Yeah,
old
yeah.
heads, dude. But there's like 10 of them. There's like 10 of the popes. None of them are the bad guy popes now where we're like, oh, he's been covering up a child pedophile ring for
Yeah.
decades and
I also
moving him around and stuff, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a little too dark. We don't want to get into that.
No,
These
no,
guys are
Jakin.Off.
mostly just like killing and fucking and like doing some weird stuff with dead bodies.
Oh. I love that.
you know how popes be.
Popes. That's cool. I don't know anything about popes either. Like everyone, I found out one thing the other day, and it's because someone was talking about the Pope dying, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know if you know this. They've designed spots for the popes, and there's supposed to be one more pope, and then after that, the Antichrist is supposed to come back." And I was
Yeah,
like,
I don't think that that's right. Whoever
No.
said that is like I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's a very close friend of
I
mine,
haven't
and
heard of that one.
I was like, I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, dude. Because so, Max, I'm sure you know this basic fact about the Pope. Where's the Pope live, dude?
Rome.
There it is. There it is, dude. That's the whole key to the game, dude.
Rome?
The Pope was invented as Christianity was growing more popular in the Roman Empire back in the
Yes.
day. The Pope was like a position that was instituted by the Roman emperor to be like, we have to have like state control over this. A lot of the early popes, dude, they're just rich Roman guys that get like put into the position. It became like a position that they sought after, similar to like being a fucking governor
or
like being, like that kind of shit. Like it was like a federal government position. Like it's like being Secretary of State, dude.
Okay.
Or like Secretary of Religion.
I see.
Like that's pretty much what the Pope was.
Okay.
But eventually they kind of like the Pope kind of got more powerful as more people became Christian. And that kind of led to like the downfall of the Roman Empire in a way. Like eventually over time, it was like it became a power struggle. Other like factions within Europe either allied with the Pope or like were kind of like against the Pope at different times. And so that's all it is, dude. It's just like another sort of king.
None of this is surprising to me. I'm like, this all checks out. That would make total sense.
And that's why the Pope still lives in Rome, because like that's where it was like, that's where it was founded, and that's where the seat of power has always been for the Pope.
Interesting.
A lot of times, dude, the Pope is like elected. I mean, they're chosen by cardinals, right? They all go in this room and they make a little smoke to tell you what's going on. It's like super secret. They're like, it's so secret, dude.
Yeah.
It's so secret. It's just a bunch of guys in a room voting.
Yeah.
And they go in there, and a lot of them have agendas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of them have things that they want, you know,
Yeah.
because they're human beings. And so it's not too tough to figure out that like it's heavily influenced by like what is going on in the world, what's going on in society, like where are things going. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this Pope. Who's going to become the next Pope?
Yeah.
And are they going to be a total monster?
It's going to be J.D. Vance. He's the next Pope.
My guess is probably in some way. They're going to be not a great person. But yeah, man.
That's that makes total sense. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah.
When is the next Pope to go enthroned?
So they're going to do like this little, it's called the conclave.
Okay.
You may have
papal conclave.
saw the movie.
Yeah, maybe you've seen the movie Conclave. Maybe you want to check out the movie Conclave. I actually keep seeing people are like, they're being like Conclave views are up 10,000% since the Pope's death. Like it's a movie. It's got Stanley Tucci in it. It's got Ralph Fiennes.
Right? Ralph Fiennes.
Fiennes. Yeah, I don't know how to fucking pronounce his name, dude.
I'll put this on my list.
Yeah, it's okay. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
it came out last year. I think it got nominated for a lot of stuff.
Oh, it came out last year?
Yeah.
2024, yeah.
I saw it like around then, and then I kind of forget stuff that I see pretty quickly. It didn't stick with me, to be totally honest, but
I didn't see it.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
It is so funny to think
3
about
popcorn bags out of 5 popcorn bags.
It's so funny to think about the Pope moving. The Pope being like, I'm done here. I'm just going to go. Like, where would he go? He'd be like, I'm in Hawaii. I'm the Pope of Hawaii.
That actually happened with the Pope right before the guy who was just Pope.
He went to Hawaii?
Dude, one of the popes abdicated.
I want to see that movie.
What?
One of the popes was just like, I'm out. Like, you're supposed to be Pope until you die.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is that this is like God's interpreter. You know what I mean? Like he's like the interpreter of God and kind of is like the chosen person to sort of like read the Bible and tell everybody what it says.
Yeah.
Because that was also the whole thing is the idea of like a Latin language was like that was something that people learned for a long time to be able to study theology and Christian doctrine and stuff, because a lot of it was written in Latin because that was the language that they used in the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And so it was heavily guarded. Like you had to be very wealthy to be able to like study Latin and like learn Latin. It's like very concentrated few people. So then those were also the only people who could become Pope. Like it's not like a fucking guy who just loves Jesus off the street could become pope.
Yeah.
And that's because he didn't realize that. Like, if you were like a regular person, you wouldn't really know that because you couldn't actually read the Bible. Like, you would just go to church and they would be like, here's what it says.
Yeah, and you're like, I trust him.
Yeah, you would have to. That was like your only choice. One of the guys we're going to talk about today was such a bad pope that it made Martin Luther nail the 95 Theses to the door to like start the Protestant Reformation.
Whoa.
Yeah, because he was such a bad pope, because they're like, everybody was like, this guy is a piece of shit.
What's some of the stuff the Pope was doing?
Dude, we'll get into it. We're going to start with a more interesting one, though.
Okay.
So this guy, they're all pretty interesting, but the first guy, this was way back in the year 896, dude.
Okay.
So you were thinking, this was a long time ago.
896.
896.
Oh.
The Roman Empire is still kicking around.
Yeah.
At this time.
Remember the Roman Empire?
Yeah, I know. I feel like we are going to talk a decent amount about the Roman Empire today, but I do love it, and I'm not ashamed. I was born this way. I was born to be interested in the
like
Roman
Lady Gaga
Empire.
said.
Yeah.
Even if you love the Roman Empire.
But dude, Pope Stephen the Sixth.
Okay.
Stephen, spelled the same way as Stephen Taylor.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is weird.
In 896, somebody was spelling Stephen.
It's like Jesus and I mean, I doubt all their names are like Adam and all that shit. It's like
they only had like 12, 13 names or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I always think it's really funny to think about these names in that sort of context where it's like, yeah, the name. I mean, my name is Jake, short for Jacob.
Yeah.
Which is like a biblical name, or David.
John.
Like all these like names where we're like, that's a Western name.
Yeah.
Is like actually a lot of it is from like the sort of like Mediterranean area, like, you know, the Levant, like places now that you would be like, that's the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like, well, David is a Middle Eastern name, bud.
Yeah. Hello. My name is Jacob.
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny to think about. It's funny to think about that. But
That's my name, buddy. It was mine first.
But dude, Pope Stephen the Sixth, he was born in Rome, and his dad was a priest named John. There you go.
Okay.
And he basically, the guy that he succeeded had made political enemies with the people who were like his biggest fans.
Okay.
Right? So like the puppeteers controlling this guy made him do this thing where he exhumed the previous pope's dead body and had a trial with his dead corpse.
No way.
Yeah.
They weekend at Bernie's
dude,
the Pope.
Yes, yes, dude. I have
They have sunglasses on him. He's like,
I have a depiction of it here for you. This is a painting.
No way.
Of it. Yeah, dude. This really happened. So, and Brett, I got this saved, so I'll be able to just.
Hell
What?
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
dude, that's pretty good.
He's kind of. You can see this guy over here. That's that's the old Pope, obviously.
Yeah.
The skeleton. And then this is Pope
Stephen.
Pope Stephen pointing at him and saying, "You piece of shit. You piece of absolute shit." And this is just sort of like a good representation of like how much of this is not like the Pope in the entire position, like at the beginning was like so unrelated to like actual Christianity or like anything to do with like the Bible or, you know, it's just about like, it's just because this skeleton had upset some rich guys. And they were like, we're going to fucking embarrass him. You know, because back in the day, the value systems were a little bit different. And like the idea of doing this, like
bones were a lot, you know, costly.
It's so funny to like have him
exactly
like, to have him up and roast him and then be like, ooh, yo, he can't even say nothing right now.
Dude, they dumped his body in the river afterwards into the Tiber River.
Just fuck him.
And dude, what ended up happening is Pope Stephen the Sixth, it was like so upsetting to people Like people were so upset by this
Yeah.
that they like basically it made them all actually like the dead Pope even more. And they were like his body washed up on shore and like started like his dead body was like bloated with like water and still doing miracles and shit.
Wait,
and
what?
like all this stuff. Yeah, that's what people were saying. That became like the popular kind of this guy was so insane.
Yeah.
Like it was considered so crazy to do this that it caused this like reaction among people
Yeah.
where they were like, well, it's like he defamed this guy because he's actually so holy that even his dead body that like they dumped in a river
Yeah.
is washing up on shore and like miracles are happening because of his body.
Miracles are
It's-
happening.
It's really funny to
That-
think about that.
But like the thing is, you were saying because of the puppeteer thing going on.
Yeah.
Did Steven want to do this, or did you just have to do this?
I
know.
the thing with this case specifically is it's so old and
Yeah.
such little exists
Mhm.
about like the history of it. Like we know about these events because it was like so scandalous and so broadly
Yeah.
written about that some of the actual information on it survived.
Yeah.
But a lot of the nitty-gritty details that we would know about something like this today,
Mhm.
like of an equal, like a scandal of like equal, like sort of measure, like we would know a lot more about it today than they would then because it's just a
Yeah.
lot of it didn't survive. So
It's-
there's we don't know why these guys really hated this other pope.
okay.
But it was during a period of like very tumultuous. They had like fucking 8 popes in 8 years, dude. Like
yeah.
this is like there's like popes
Pope a
back to
year,
back to
yeah.
back. Yeah, like
That's so. Also, it's like it's crazy to do this, and then everyone's like, "Actually, dude, fuck you." And he's like, "Whoa, hold on, I didn't want to do this. They made me do it."
Exactly.
You're like, who? And he goes to the
Exactly.
puppeteers, and they go,
Yeah. The Spoletos. We do know
Puppeteers?
their name.
Puppeteers.
Ooh, Brett.
I'm clever every now and then.
Yeah, we do know their names. They were the Spoleto clan,
Spoleto.
like a family with.
So
the
they were
name
definitely
Spoleto.
Italian. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
Of
in
course.
Rome, baby. This is in Italy. And it's the most. The Pope is
they
the
go
most
back
Italian
that
shit of
far.
all
That's
time.
insane.
Yeah, dude. So that guy was pretty cool. The next Pope.
We're gonna need you to embarrass him if you catch my drift.
Yeah, the other thing that you got to keep in mind about these guys is, again, these are just kids of very rich people, like whose parents have like bought them this position essentially, like a lot of the times, or they've been elected through like because their family is powerful.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all none of these guys are like particularly dedicated to being good,
Christ.
upstanding Christians. If you can believe it.
No, I can't actually.
If you can believe it, Max, they don't actually care that much about it, just to remind you. So this next guy is his name is Pope John the 7th. No, John the 12th, excuse me. It's an X, not a V. I'm not great with Roman numerals, bro. That's what I learned in reading about this stuff is I think the Pope kind of sucks. It's like write the number 13, dude. Just write 1-3.
X111.
It's
Nah, they're all-
2025.
They're all about them Roman numerals.
Yeah,
What's
I know.
20?
I know.
XX.
XX.
Oh, that's way too much.
X
writing.
is 10.
I don't like that.
Well, it's just it makes it like you
What's
have to like
100?
stop and do a little math problem
Yep.
Yeah.
every time you read their fucking names. But John the 12th. Go ahead. Sorry.
What?
were you gonna say?
How do you write 100 in Roman numerals?
It's a C, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
okay.
Yeah.
So like 9 would be like 99 X's.
I think it's like
It's I think it's I before C, so it's like
Ah,
one
okay,
minus the
yeah,
bigger
yeah,
number.
yeah.
Okay.
If you put the little number to the left of a bigger number, it means you're taking it away.
Nope, I was wrong. It's God. They make this so confusing. You got to do the 9 place, so it's 10 before C, so it's XCIX because it's 10 before 100 and it's 1 before 10. That doesn't make any. That's so
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah, it's just it sucks.
I'm learning so much today.
Yeah, it fucking blows ass, dude.
Oh, I hate that.
You
That's so dumb.
Yeah, nobody should have to know this stuff. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
that they make us.
Thank God they'll get rid of the Pope soon, and then the Antichrist will be here, and no one will have to remember Roman numerals.
I actually hope your friend is right.
Me too.
First rule of Antichrist. You know what? Fuck them Roman numerals.
The Antichrist comes back and puts all the popes from the dead, and they're like, all right, roast time. We're going to roast them.
So, dude, this guy, he murdered people and just kind of like, because at this point, dude, this guy is simultaneously like a prince of an area.
Yeah.
And like a prince of a fiefdom and also the Pope at the same time. And so he's just like fucking and killing and like doing all kinds of stuff.
Awesome
and
Pope.
Everybody's like, this is messed up. And he's like, no, it's not. The Bible says I can do it.
Yo, I'm the only one that can read the Bible. I'm doing just fine.
He's like, come on. Come on.
The only one that can read the Bible.
But he's like literally doing like war, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same guys. He's actually a member of the Spoleto family.
Of course.
They just like about 80 years after the other shit, they're like, he's just going to be Pope.
Hey, come on. I'm the motherfucking Pope. Hey, I'm sorry. Do you read Latin? Didn't think so.
We don't have like an awesome painting from any of this guy's stuff. But he
Just pull up a picture of any Italian guy.
When we get to some of them later, you're gonna be like, wow. There's one painting in particular where you're like, that looks like a guy from The Sopranos. It's sick.
You just pull up a picture of Tony Soprano and you go, this was the Pope, actually.
Dude, yeah, he was pretty much like just like too worldly of a guy. He loved sexing, he loved spending money, he loved stabbing people.
It sounds like I should be the Pope.
Yeah, dude, no, literally the
That sounds
Pope is a
Italian as
position.
fuck.
Traditionally speaking, there have been way more popes that are like just like rapscallions, sort of like or like in the more modern era, like literal pedophiles.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
It sounds like they've been going through like jails and just being like, whatever guy in here, he'll be
none
the
of
Pope.
them. There's like no era that you can point to where like this was when we had the run of like all the best. Like this was the golden era of
age.
popes. Like that's just like a slew
It's like
of like the biggest scandals in history. Are all
the golden age of popes is like, all right, well, they had a run of 10 pedophiles, and they just did that. That was it. That was all they did. That was just their thing.
Yeah, they only hurt the children.
They weren't killing, they weren't robbing, they didn't do war.
Yeah, dude. So, that's a little bit about that guy. There's not a ton of interesting shit. He just loved fucking and stabbing, and everybody's like, "You're not supposed to do that. You're the Pope." And he's like, "But I'm a prince."
It's good to know they just had a pirate as a pope.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Yeah. He's taking the army around. He's taking
awesome.
them around, and dude. So
just
moving
spoiled
on.
rich kids.
Yeah, dude. No, seriously, it's like they're all trust fund babies.
Yeah.
They all like, they all fucking just, they all just sort of like fuck off, and yeah, man.
Not to do my bit, but it's so funny that like, everyone's like, you can't do that. He goes, do you know who my dad is? God. I'm the Pope. They get it confused. They think they're Jesus. I'm Jesus. And they're like, you're the Pope. He goes, same thing.
So probably the most interesting guy, and the one that we like. This is getting now later, right? So those first two guys we were talking about. I'm not going to go through all of these bad popes because it's just like, and some of it's kind of redundant, right?
Yeah.
Like some of it is just like, yeah, they love to fuck.
Did you know the Catholic Church does bad things?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, like that kind of shit. But the guy who sort of spurned Martin Luther King to make his 95 Theses and post it, which is, he's the original poster. That guy's name was Pope Leo. And Pope Leo is our Sopranos character.
Wow. Wow. That's a goon for sure.
Dude,
that is...
he looks like some fucking muscle, bro.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's so fucking funny. how much he resembles just like a modern Italian movie character.
Hey, let me see your ID.
This guy could be a cop in The Wire.
Oh,
Like-
for sure. Yeah.
He looks like Herc from The Wire. If anybody loves The Wire, we found Herc.
Who's the guy in who's Walter White's brother-in-law? Hank.
Hank,
He
dude.
looks like Hank a little
yeah,
bit.
he does look like Hank. Yeah, this guy, if he was alive today, he'd be an ICE agent probably. So the kind of vibes this Pope is given. Pope Leo the 10th.
Leo.
So the 10th Leo, he was like a pretty bad pope, all things considered. He kind of like, he's considered the guy who really like let up control, because he was doing shit that like, they've been doing it for a while, right? The whole idea was they would have these things called the like entire years that they referred to as Jubilee,
Okay.
which is like,
Could you believe it?
yeah,
Okay.
could you believe it? No, Jubilee, like Jubilee. Now, like, people use the word sort of as like a synonym of like party, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Jubilee.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. So
Yeah.
what that actually used to be
Mhm.
was like the Pope would be like, all this year, everybody's sins getting forgiven. Like, that was a thing
That's
that
awesome.
a Pope made up in the past,
Yeah.
because they were like, we got to do something to make people not hate us.
We got to
Somehow.
raise morale, the Pope. What do we
Yes.
do?
Dude, and a lot of people in those days were like
Sinners.
really committed to the idea of like their soul not going to hell for eternity,
Oh yeah.
because that was like one of the only things that they were allowed to know,
Yeah.
is that if you acted immorally.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of times the morals of this religion happen to align really well with the like government that was like overseeing it at the
Yeah.
time. So it's like they go hand in hand, but it's like, yeah, they were like used it to like sort of like form morality of
Yeah.
the society.
They're like, hey, we're cool now. Hey, guess what? You right there, I see you literally stabbing someone. You're going to heaven. We forgive you.
Well, dude, eventually though, what would happen is like most of the like average people would become very disillusioned over time. Like every so often this would happen,
Yeah.
because they'd be like, ugh, like all these people tell us is that we can't do any of this stuff that's bad, but all they're doing is this awful stuff. They're
Yeah.
all having orgies.
Yeah.
And like, you know, one of the popes previously had spent an entire like 1/7 of the papal like reserves on one single like party, basically. Like that kind of shit was going on.
That's
like
awesome.
Marie Antoinette level like disdain for some of these people.
Yeah.
And so they would have to get a pope in there that would be like, oh, okay, actually, like everything's cool now.
Yeah.
Everything's cool. But this Jubilee shit became the basis for what this guy ended up doing, which was he was just like, we're gonna let people pay to have their sins forgiven. Like instead of doing
yeah.
Jubilees, it's just gonna cost money now.
Yeah.
And Martin Luther was not cool with that. He was like, this is fucked up. And a lot of normal people, like average like believers at the time, were not cool with it either.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have money, then you couldn't get your sins forgiven.
Yeah.
And you know, like these basically gave rich people like an easy path to heaven. And they made it so that like you could even if somebody died, if you had enough money, you could pay to have their sins forgiven even after they died.
Imagine like you're like they're just in hell and they're all of a sudden they're in heaven. They're like,
They're
yes,
like, you did it.
you posted bail.
Thank you, Steven.
What year was this?
This is in the 1500s. So this is like,
Is this Pope Leo the 10th?
yeah, Pope Leo the 10th. So this would have been like
15.
late 14s, early 15s.
Yeah.
When was
Right.
the crusade?
That happened a lot of
well,
times. That happened a few times.
Yeah,
There are a
most
few
recently
crusades.
1989 with Indiana Jones and the Last
Yeah.
Crusade.
Yeah. Or
good
actually,
crusade.
I would say even more recently than that, probably like 2004, 2003 when we invaded Iraq.
Oh yeah.
Not all that different, it turns out. Yeah, they're all just sort of like wars of weird like obsessions with, whatever
Yeah.
whatever they need.
I love that he made it a sin to be poor. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're poor."
Well,
Sorry.
he certainly didn't. I think that a lot of it is like they're just like not. None of these people are actually like that bright, right? Like if you're just like a rich person, it's the same thing as today. You don't actually have to be that smart to like get stuff done.
Just
or
keep
whatever.
lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, like you oftentimes you just get put into a position where you're like have a lot of influence,
Yeah.
just because money talks, dude. Like that's
Whatever
everybody
money talk.
everybody says that all the
Yeah.
time. Rappers,
Yeah.
me just now,
You and rappers, one of the
me,
same.
rappers, my dad. No, I'm just kidding.
I can see him like talking to everyone, being
Yeah,
like, "We're gonna
dude.
forgive your sins," but he's like, what is that? Was that a salami sandwich? Give me that.
Yeah,
You
dude,
guys listen.
exactly. The gabagoo.
Hey, the gabagoo. Give me
You
that.
can see this guy munching down on some gabagoo.
Hey, give me that. I'll let you into heaven. Give me that.
Brad, are you looking at the picture of this guy?
No,
You've
no,
gotta
I'm just
see
looking at
one
the
that
main
we-
list. Let me see.
You
It's
gotta
like a
see
guy
the
with Deadly
picture. of
Peppers
the
Oh
guy that we're
yeah,
talking about.
he
Yeah,
definitely was
dude.
bald. Where he was just like, "Let me wear a hat,
Dude,
make sure."
this also shows how different the Pope hats used to be.
Oh yeah.
Because this hat looks more like a Santa Claus hat. It's like a Santa Claus hat without the fun part.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
have the sleepy time bob.
I'm very serious.
Pom
Santa.
pom.
Yeah. It's like a Santa skull cap.
He's
This
gonna-
guy, he looks like white supremacist Santa.
No,
They're like, we don't want the dangles.
I can't stop. Like looking at Pope portraits makes me think of that. What is it? Fucking Francis Bacon, Pope Innocent the 10th portrait. It's a fucking gnarly ass one he did in like the 50s or whatever.
Really?
It's like a fucking metal album cover looking shit.
I'm not familiar. I only like true portraits of popes, where it
Sanctioned
shows me
by the
how they
Catholic
really
Church.
were. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, give me the hat that matches.
Yeah, dude. He's like, oh, this hat, it fell off the back of a truck. But honestly, dude, we're we're just fucking floating through popes, dude, floating through life.
He's wearing there's like a Yankees like emblem on the side of it.
Yeah, dude. What you can't see is that the Pope is wearing white Air Force Ones.
Yeah. Hey, that's a Yankee with no brim.
Yeah, dude. It does look like some sort of proto velour jumpsuit too. That's actually really funny. Dude.
Yeah, there is a portrait of an Italian guy right now wearing the same exact
Dude,
thing.
yeah. It's so fucking funny, dude. He's just so fucking Italian, dude. Leo.
What do you mean? It's my sweatsuit.
You talking to me?
Hey, this thing looks fly, right? Yeah, that's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, what was his forename? Giovanni di Lorenzo di Messini.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's fucking like.
What's
he's
his
the most Italian guy of all time.
What's his actual Pope name again?
Leo the 10th.
Oh yeah.
Like not nearly as
Hey.
badass, but definitely toned down a lot more.
Yeah,
It's me,
dude.
Leonardo.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Leonardo.
Oh shit, Raphael did his fucking portrait. What up, turtles?
Yeah, dude. It is turtle time, bro.
Hey, Leonardo. Or no, he's talking to Raphael. He goes, hey, Raphael, it's me, Leonardo. They should make a turtle thing about us. He actually invented Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It actually is a very good portrait, like, of course, but
You have just like an evil person.
dude, here's the thing: is I feel like Aaron Scarborough was born in the wrong time, because if he could just be born in a time where all you got to do is paint Italian guys in jumpsuits,
But the whole time,
dude, he would have been the most famous painter of all time.
Yeah,
he
he
could have
would've.
done this.
he would have, but the whole time he would have been like, I just don't really believe in what you believe in.
Dude,
I like more of a communist approach to things.
it's this is like so fucking funny though, dude. And you know what, dude? We can only hope. I want another Italian pope, dude. Give us another true Italian pope. That's what we're calling for. Jakin.Off is leveraging its influence. We don't care about politics. Well, that's not true. We would love an Italian pope who cares about poor people.
And gabagoo.
And he doesn't persecute gay people. We're calling for that, and he better be fucking Italian. Italian is hell. Italian is this guy. I want a pope dressed like this guy.
Pastrami for the poor people.
Yeah.
But let him have it. Pastrami for the poors.
He's like, I want a pope he's got a gabagoo gun. It suits gabagoo.
He has
We
like the
give the
t-shirt gun
gabagool
that
to
just
the
shoots
kids.
gabagool.
Yeah, he's like blasting.
But I imagine it's like one of those like childhood like foam launchers, but just sliding out slices of.
Swing, 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 swing.
It's a potato launcher that'll
Pew, pew,
literally
pew.
kill you, and he's like, "Hey, gabagoo, I'm gonna kill you."
It's got to have lots of power to get to the top decks. We want it to be able to get to the upper decks.
Let's crank that PSI, shall we?
He's
Man.
like, I want a bigger Pope box. Make the glass box a little bigger.
When we ride it into baseball stadiums, people need to be able to throw a ping pong ball into my Pope box.
Yeah,
So
dude.
maybe when the
Play with
Pope
my
Pope
Yes.
box.
Yes. He's like driving around and he keeps yeah, dude, he's like doing bottle flips.
To that one song, it's like.
Man, I need a pope that can throw down a good fucking DJ set. Give me a fucking boiler room from the Pope.
Dude.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
It's I
Believe
love
in God.
yeah, I love the idea of like dubstep Pope, dude, like a dubstep DJ.
All right,
Only
y'all.
a matter of time.
We're in the Lord's hands now. Blah, 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 blah. Ah, shit! This beat is unholy. He just the Pope just having like really shitty lines about Christ and like
Yeah, dude.
that'd be sweet.
I love it, man. The future popes, dude. Thinking about the future popes. You know what? I didn't even.
That's all. Hey, that's my NBC series.
Yeah,
Future Pope.
Future
Dude,
Pope.
I spent a lot of time thinking about the past Pope. I didn't even consider like thinking about what popes in the future are gonna be like,
Yeah.
dude. Like the first
Cyberpunk
millennial Pope is gonna be so annoying, dude.
Dude.
Like the first millennial Pope.
The first iPad Pope.
Yeah, dude. The first iPad Pope, bro. Dude, Gen X Pope. Gen X Pope is gonna suck,
Yeah.
dude.
Dude, what the next Pope has a pussy?
That's not gonna happen.
No, come on.
Yeah,
She can play
dude.
with her Pope box. She can be like, hey, I got a glass box
Dude,
out here. I got
the
a Pope box.
amount of porn that would spawn, like, dude,
Instant
you're talking about
Yes.
Catholics are some of like the most sexually repressed people.
Dude.
You put a lady Pope in there, they're all gonna like be so mad.
They're-
They're
the
gonna
whole-
be mad outwardly, and then they're gonna get home and they're gonna jerk off way too much, dude.
That's the Antichrist Pope.
The
Yeah,
Gooner
is-
Pope.
Is the woman
Gooner
Pope.
dude, the Gooner Pope.
Gooner.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like,
yeah.
people are mad. They're like, he's allowing more goon caves. He's too okay with the goon caves.
What is this thing that Pope does? Like this? Is this the thing the Pope does?
Yeah,
Or it's
something
like,
like that.
You're
dude. I
thinking
don't
of the
fucking
Queen
know.
wave, I think.
All right, yeah, I know the Pope does something like.
No, you're right. He does.
Two
like
in the
a-
pink, one in the stink.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
because I'm a gooner.
yeah. The Pope,
I'm the Gope.
the Pope. He's like, hello, hello,
Hello, fellow gooners. All your goon sins will be forgiven from here on
Dude,
out.
it is so goofy that we still have a pope. It's like the fact that we still have a pope is, I think, like one of the signs that we're never gonna like
Evolve.
we're never gonna save ourselves from whatever like destruction we have wrought.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not gonna fucking we can't change anything, dude. There's still a pope. There's still a pope, even after everything that they've done, dude. We talked about it today, and everything that we know they're gonna do.
Dude, you know what
That's the
falls
other
into
dude.
the same category as the Pope?
Hmm.
The fucking groundhog that determines the weather.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
a strictly American thing. I mean, nothing's coming close to that ever, you know.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
And it's been, and you know what, dude? The groundhog thing, we're talking about what, like a few hundred years max?
Yeah.
The Pope, we're talking like
Thousands.
2,000 years.
Yeah, it is true.
It's fucking crazy. It's crazy how much Pope bullshit we put up with. It's insane. I can't believe that people are still doing it. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, dude. He looks like he looks like a private security guard.
It looks like you a little bit.
Dude, yeah, we do kind of look
If
alike.
you shaved your head and your beard, you guys would look identical.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You just don't like it because you're looking at the reflection of yourself.
Yeah, it's tough.
Jake, you could be a pope.
Fuck.
I don't think Jake's Italian enough to be Pope for me personally.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to take the job from any Italians who deserve it. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. Is like,
You need to be real Guido.
it's like save the Pope for the people who are supposed to be Pope
The
until we
Italians.
get rid of it completely.
Listen, I can be the pope. I was born in marinara sauce.
Hey, what's the Pope's favorite meal? Spaghetti and meatballs. No, dude. I really do not like Italians.
I was hoping you would say it first.
I'm totally kidding.
Oh,
I'm
well.
joking. We have a lot of listeners in Italy, actually.
Do we?
Yeah,
Do
we
you?
have a lot of international listeners.
Yeah, we have a lot of international listeners. A lot of people overseas tune into Jakin.Off, and they go, whoa.
Whoa.
What the hell is going on over there?
Whoa, that child just said Guido. I do not like that.
But we've reached the end of the episode, Max.
Oh,
It's all done. We did it.
I'm glad we got to end it on a Guido moment.
Yeah, you said Guido, and I knew that was the time that we had to draw things to a close.
You're like, I can't show him another pope. He's going to say worse
Yeah,
things.
well, this is really the best Pope to end on. It's just like what?
Oh, what if it was, Pope Ronnie from Jersey Shore? As soon as you brought up Guido, I'm like, that's probably what Max thinks of when we say Italian Americans. Is
Yeah, a little
Snooki,
bit, yeah. If it's like, who's the one guy that has like the spiked up
DJ
hair?
Pauly D.
Yeah, Pauly D. is the Pope.
Pauly D. Dude, I've been to the Jersey Shore house. Me and my brother had an argument there. We had a disagreement on the Jersey Shore at the Jersey Shore, dude.
Was it about Jersey
exactly
Shore
what was
lore?
supposed to happen.
On what?
It was some bullshit, dude. It's like you get out there, you start breathing in the air, and it's like an infection, dude. It's airborne.
It's in New Jersey.
Whatever's going on in New Jersey, it's like it rubs off on you. This guy looks like he's from New Jersey. Also, this
We need a
Pope
Pope
looks
from
like
New
he's
Jersey.
From New Jersey.
Hey, I'm the Pope. Let's go to a
But
club.
probably the last 10 minutes of this podcast are gonna just have to have the picture of this Pope up.
I'll just
'Cause
keep
you've
it
just
up
been,
for as long as possible.
intermittently just been like going back to how fucking stupid he
It just
was.
fades in and out.
I could do that. Oh, we'll figure
Pope.
it out.
Pope.
Dude.
All right, Popey D. I'm cooking up a storm in here.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna make you stop now, Max.
Okay.
You can't cook up anymore.
Yeah, I understand.
But tell people where they can find you. Where can they follow you at?
Hey.
You got anything coming up? When is this episode going to come out?
This episode's coming out on May 15th.
May
Yeah.
15th. No, that's right after one of the shows I'm on. You can just find me on Instagram at Max G Peterson. That's about it.
Look him up, Max G. Peterson on Instagram. There will be a link in the description.
Also, if you really did, if you are going to check out anything, I have a show at a vintage warehouse
There you
thrift
go.
store every month, end of the month. It's always a lot of fun.
Nice. Yes. Warehouse Vintage. Fun show.
Thank you. You were on
Fun
it.
comedy show. Yeah, I did the comedy show. It was a great time. They got some cute little outfits.
Yeah.
If you want to wear a cute little outfit.
They actually
I'm
have
too
something quite like
big.
this.
Yeah,
They got a
you
Pope
could
outfit?
you could dress like Pope Leo X.
Yeah.
Go to fucking Warehouse Vintage.
You can get the Pope do-rag.
Yeah, dude.
He takes it off his head. He has waves.
Yeah, dude. It's like somewhere between Santa Claus hat and do-rag. It's a very weird hat for the Pope, but that's the Pope. And that's our podcast. Everybody, as always, you can follow this podcast at Jakin.Off.Podcast. And you can send anything at all to Jakin.Off.Podcast at gmail.com. We'll look at it at least once. That's the Jakin Off guarantee. You send it, we'll look at it once. Other than that, Brett, you got anything?
Gabagool.
Okay, nice, dude. So that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. But see you later. Bye-bye.